Hey guys, Josh from Sportitude here. Today we're going to be doing a comparative shoe review. Now, this comparative shoe review is all on Asics footwear. We've got the gel Nimbus, we've got the gel Cumulus, and the gel Pursuit. Sorry, I don't have three arms. So that's three shoes from the neutral family from Asics, all in that sort of mid to high mileage category. Very similar in regards to what foot type should be running inside these shoes, however quite different in their engineering configuration. So we're going to give you some tips at home and we'll hopefully give you enough information to make the right choice if you happen to be falling into this category. Okay, let's talk about the foot type that sits inside the Nimbus, Pursuit, and the Cumulus. We're talking about a neutral foot type, as you can see through here, high navicular region, quite a gap between the ground and the arch through here, so a little bit of air that comes into play through this region through here. And when we're going through our running gait cycle, heel strike, mid stance, we're talking about a foot that doesn't necessarily flatten out in that plantar fascia through here. It stays quite pitched, quite high, and almost what we classify as underpronates or supinates through that gait cycle. So a lot of the pressure can be on the outside of the foot through here. Also, with these shoes, if you do have an orthotic and you do mildly pronate, your orthotic will fit in the Nimbus, Pursuit, and the Cumulus quite well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this review in sort of three different sections. We're going to talk about the runner that's going consistent speeds for their running training program. So heel striking coming through to the mid stance phase. So when I talk about consistent speeds, we're talking about the runner that probably sits around that 5-30 minute split and above. And then we'll start to talk about what runners like to vary their running speed. So you might go for slower, longer runs, quicker, short speeds. And then we'll also talk about the runner that's looking to do mainly tempo running or actually turns their feet over quite quickly, no matter what distance they're running. So we'll start off with the runner that's going to be going for consistent speeds, 5 minute, 30 kilometer splits and above. And we're talking here the gel Nimbus. Now, why am I talking about that style of runner inside this shoe? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this little guy here is stacked full of cushioning. So you've got gel assistance through the heel, you've got gel assistance through the forefoot, you've got your flight foam, obviously cushioning layer, and which just essentially provides a really plush feel underneath the foot. Also, you've got a slightly higher stack height for the ladies. You've got a 13 millimeter heel to toe gradient, so 32 millimeters in the heel, 19 in the forefoot. So what that essentially does is provides the runner who needs and really relies on that cushioning, on that impact zone on heel strike through here. Obviously, there's a variety of widths in these shoes, which in the link below will take you through to our page and you'll be able to see the widths on offer. So you can use the Nimbus if you wanted to use it for shorter, quicker runs. However, I like to talk about energy return. So there shouldn't, when you're going from contact zone to mid-stance zone to braking zone, you shouldn't have too much variance in relation to the compression rate in the shoe itself. So what we find when I use the Nimbus myself personally and all of our other runners that use this specific shoe and we really pick up the pace, we're still sinking too much through that braking phase in that mid-stance region because it's just jacked full of cushioning. So if you're the type of runner that likes to vary their speeds, I'll jump into the next shoe here, we'll get going. So if you're a runner that likes to go for slower runs and then maybe change it up 2 days later and go for a quicker run, I can't speak highly enough of the gel Cumulus. Why? Because it does have a considerable amount of cushioning underneath the foot, but it also has flight foam and flight foam propel layering as well. So you're getting a combination of impact cushioning for your longer, slower, consistent runs. As when I'm talking that, I'm sort of leaning towards that 5 minute 30 and up kilometer split. So that's a considerable amount of foot contact time with the ground, because obviously the slower you run, the more time your foot spends in contact with the ground. So you need a little bit of cushioning impact guidance underneath the foot to take that stress off of the whole foot. Obviously your navicular region, your metatarsals, and obviously your plantar fascia fibre as well. You don't want to put it under too much stress when you're running those longer, slower speeds. However, you wake up 2 days later and you want to go for a quicker, more tempo style run, the Cumulus 20 is a great option because it's got that flight foam propel layering on top, which is a more responsive layer of the flight foam family. So you can get that energy return when you're going through what we call, obviously, impact zone, mid-stance zone. Mid-stance, which we call the braking category, right through to toe-off. The flight foam propel will kick you through that mid-stance region a little bit quicker than just traditional flight foam, which the Nimbus has. What this little guy does have as well, as I flip it upside down, is a full contact area. We're not talking truss system, as you can see with the Nimbus. On the medial side and the lateral side, that's got the truss system through there. So that essentially is designed to obviously hold that foot in a really, or hold the shoe in a good position for that foot through mid-stance phase. This little guy, the Cumulus, doesn't have it. It's got full contact area, no matter whether you're hitting heel striking or you're hitting midfoot, forefoot. Having a plush point of contact with the ground is great with the Cumulus 20. Yeah, big fan of the Cumulus 20. I like what they're doing with that shoe. Now let's move along to the runner that's potentially going to maybe not drop below, anywhere below that 5 minute kilometre split. So really turning the legs over quite quick. We're talking about plenty of energy return inside their running game. Then we've got the gel Pursuit. This little guy here looks pretty similar to the GT 2000 from Asics. And the reason being, guys, it's because it is a GT 2000 version 6 without the Joymax support on the medial side. So clever move there by Asics. They've kept the engineering of probably globally one of their more popular shoes, the GT 2000, and they just rolled it over and said, hey, if you're a neutral foot type, you can now run in this little guy through here. So same thing with the 2000 and the Pursuit, a runner that likes to stay on top of the ground. It's a nice responsive feel underneath the foot. It's got the same flex screws underneath through here what you get out of the GT 2000. So you've got the truss stick beam through here, which is going to give the shoe plenty of support through that braking phase or mid-stance phase. However, the layering of the flight foam midsole is going to give this shoe a bit more response. So if you're talking about softness rating out of the 3 shoes I'm talking, we're going to go Nimbus, Cumulus, and then Pursuit. Now, I'm not saying this is rock hard underneath the foot. It's just a more responsive shoe. So you're going to get that energy return and that kickback through that gait cycle as you go through to toe of face. As we're talking this shoe through here, I do like it. It's got a nice deep solid heel counter at the back. So if you're talking about a runner that's going to be running a little bit quicker, which I'm alluding to here out of these 3 shoes, you want quite a structured heel counter at the back. So internal heel counter, nice and stable. Going to hold that calcaneus in a great position. We don't want it to move too much at all, especially when we're heel striking or even when you're midfoot striking. You don't want any movement towards the back of that ankle. That calcaneus plays a critical role. Calcaneus is this little guy here. This bone through here plays a critical role in holding that foot from the platform to then take you through your vertical skeletal setup through here. So this calcaneus shouldn't be moving at all through any part of your strike zone, whether it be obviously heel striking or midfoot striking. You need that to be nice and stable, and that's why brands make really solid heel counters, and the Gel Pursuit has that through there. So the cool thing with Asics is they do offer a variety of widths in their key running shoes. So the Nimbus, the Cumulus, and the Pursuit do come in a variety of widths. So just because you happen to be wider or narrow doesn't mean you should be hemmed by a footwear option. So Asics and other brands do that quite well, but Asics especially. Okay guys, what I'd like to do now is talk about the stack heights in all 3 shoes. So the only difference is the women's Nimbus. The women's Nimbus is a 13mm heel to toe gradient. The men's Nimbus, however, is a 10mm heel to toe drop. In the men's and women's Gel Pursuit, we've got a 10mm heel to toe gradient, same for men's, same for women's. And then the same thing with the Gel Cumulus 20. It's a 10mm heel to toe gradient, both genders. So the only difference here being the women's Nimbus, which is a 13mm stack height. So there we have it, guys. The Gel Nimbus 20, the Cumulus 20, and the Gel Pursuit version 4 right there. So hopefully that's given you enough information at home to make this decision as easy as possible. As always with all my reviews, if you need something clarified, drop a comment in this video below. If you like our reviews, please hit a like. If you want to subscribe to our channel, do so. Yeah, until next time, happy running. We'll see you out on the road.